We want to thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, a hot one to say the least. I'm Jurnee Taylor. Let's head straight over to the weather department where we find meteorologist Nathan Scott. And Nathan, listen, this might be a beautiful, picture right behind me. It looks beautiful out there. But if we had a temperature on that, I can tell you right now, I don't want to be out there.
Good afternoon, Jurnee. Yeah, looks can be deceiving because it looks nice, but you step outside and that humidity just smacks you right across the face. It is a sweat fest out there once again, ladies and gentlemen, and for that reason, we have a heat advisory in effect and excessive heat warning in effect. Excessive heat warning in effect for East Arkansas, the rest of the state under a heat advisory, and that means the feels like number or the heat index ranges from 105 to as high as maybe 115 for a max this afternoon. We're off to the races already. Temperatures 95 right now in Little Rock, 95 in Searcy, 89 Arkadelphia. We do have a few of those puffy clouds building up, not producing anything on radar at this time, but there's what it feels like. Feels like 107 right now in Little Rock, feels like 110 in Monticello, more the same in Searcy, feels like 104 in Arkadelphia, so everybody is baking across the natural state. A cooling shower storm can't be ruled out, but that chance is fairly low. Here's what you can expect for today's highs into the upper 90s. Some locations could reach 100 degrees, but there is a little bit of relief going into tomorrow. I'll have more on that potential coming up.
The suspect in Friday's deadly mass shooting in Fordyce could enter a plea in court today. THV 11 is following every development of this story, and we want to make sure you're up to date on the very latest. Here's what we know so far. 5 people who were shot at the Mad Butcher grocery store are still in the hospital, including one woman who's in critical condition in Little Rock. The suspect, 44-year-old Travis Posey, is in the Ouachita County Detention Center awaiting his first appearance in court today. In all, 14 people were shot on Friday, plus the suspect. The survivors range in age from 20 to 65. 3 people were killed on Friday and a 4th died the next day. The first funeral for one of the victims, Roy Sturgis, will be held this Friday. Now, signs and prayers and support continue to pop up around the city and the state of Arkansas. THV 11's Ashley Godwin reports from Fordyce as people come from neighboring cities to mourn with the town.
Our heart really goes out to them, and we want to express our care and our love from Warren to the people here in Fordyce.
Vernon and Tammy Colvin visited from neighboring town Warren, placing flowers at the memorial in front of the Mad Butcher.
Fordyce for us is just like Warren. It's a small community. This is one of those places we have a Mad Butcher down in Warren as well, and everybody knows everybody.
It means a lot to know that people are coming trying to help us.
Friday morning, Travis Posey shot several bullets at the Mad Butcher, injuring 14 people and killing 4. Those 4 are Callie Weems, Roy Sturgis, Jurnee Taylor, and Ellen Schrum.
I knew all of them.
Fordyce Mayor John McNichol said he remembers Callie.
I knew her ever since she was in high school. She worked right across the road there at the Round Table.
He said she put herself in the line of fire to help others during the shooting.
Callie was a hero. Callie run back in to cover her, a worker in there that just checked her out, risking her life to go back in there. And Roy was in there. He went over to cover Callie because they were kin.
Mayor McNichol has been in touch with the families. He said his next step is making sure his police officers are taken care of.
My biggest thing right now is trying to get them where they can get back out on the street, because right now I got other counties in here helping us patrol, so we need to get our officers back on the street.
I spoke with a manager at the Mad Butcher. They said they don't have a reopen date right now. They're making sure their employees are okay first, and then they want to hear back from the community on how they can better serve them.
All right, Ashley, thank you. Today, the U.S. Surgeon General declared that gun violence is a public health crisis in America, citing statistics that show gun violence is now the leading cause of death among teens and kids. The nation's top doctor, Vivek Murthy, says nearly 80% of adults are stressed about the possibility of a mass shooting, and half of the country's children are worried about a shooting in their school.
The good news is there's a lot we can do. There are, for example, community violence intervention programs that we can invest in. There are safe storage education programs that we can expand. There are firearm risk reduction strategies like background checks.
The National Rifle Association released a statement in response, calling the Surgeon General's declaration an extension of the Biden administration's war on law-abiding gun owners. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is free today after the U.S. effectively gave up on a long effort to put him on trial for revealing secrets. WikiLeaks says Assange left a British prison overnight and boarded a private plane. CBS's Jared Hill brings us up to speed on the latest.
Video from WikiLeaks appears to show founder Julian Assange's journey from the UK to the Northern Mariana Islands, a U.S. territory about 3,000 miles north of his home in Australia. Assange is expected to plead guilty tomorrow to one count of espionage for his role in one of the biggest leaks of classified information in recent U.S. history. U.S. prosecutors are giving him credit for serving a little more than 5 years behind bars in London. He would have faced life in prison if convicted of conspiring with former Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning to steal classified documents relating to the Iraq and Afghanistan wars in 2010.
I think one takeaway here is that the U.S. government takes this situation seriously and that they tried very hard for years to extradite him to the U.S.
Assange's legal trouble started in 2012 when he fled to the Ecuadorian embassy in London to escape extradition to Sweden, accused of rape and sexual assault. The charges were dropped, but he stayed at the embassy for 7 years. During that time, WikiLeaks released thousands of emails stolen from the Democratic National Committee. In 2019, Ecuador expelled Assange from the embassy, and the UK sentenced him to 50 weeks in jail for breaching bail conditions related to the rape inquiry. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
In a THV 11 update, the ability to have an X marker for your gender on an ID is once again not allowed in Arkansas. The state Supreme Court overruling a decision from 2 weeks ago that kept the option available. The state moved to get rid of the neutral markers earlier this year, issuing an emergency rule change to taking effect immediately. But earlier this month, in a lawsuit brought by the ACLU, a circuit court judge ruled there isn't an emergency and the state has to go through a longer process. The High Court says it would allow the state to deny using X markings while they hear the case. Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin is suing 2 pharmacy benefit managers for their role in the fueling the opioid epidemic. The suit goes after Opium, RX, and Express Scripts. They are among the companies that serve as middlemen between insurance carriers and drugstores by negotiating prices. Arkansas and other states have already won settlements from opioid manufacturers, distributors, and pharmacies, but Griffin's office found even more evidence they say led to this lawsuit.
Let me just tell you, the PBMs had a front row seat. They were not secondary players. They were primary players. They could have taken steps to address the problem, but instead they prioritized the profits.
The lawsuit claims the PBMs refused to offer less addictive drugs and that they knew the extent of the epidemic but failed to take action. A young boy has become the first person in the world fitted with a brain implant to control epilepsy seizures. The device is giving hope others who have the condition and don't respond to drugs. Lee Kenari has the story from London.
Oren Nolson was just 3 years old when he had his first seizure. The form of epilepsy he has brings on episodes every day and night. His mom, Justine, says he lost his childhood.
Thank you. Every moment of his life is affected because of his epilepsy.
Last year, the 12-year-old took part in a trial. A neurotransmitter was fitted onto his skull to generate deep brain stimulation.
Screw ready for the plate.
Dr. Martin Tisdall is his surgeon.
When you have an epileptic seizure, it's essentially uncontrolled abnormal electrical activity, and we can block that activity by sending down these very quick pulses of current, and they disrupt the activity and therefore stop the seizures.
6 months after his surgery, Oren's daytime seizures had decreased by 80%.
How has this changed Oren's day-to-day life?
Him and his family are starting to get his childhood back.
Tisdale hopes the device can help more of the 25% of people with epilepsy who don't respond to drugs.
We really hope that by doing this research and understanding more about how deep brain stimulation works and who it works for, we'll be able to offer a new treatment option.
For now, Oren's mom says this treatment greatly improved the quality of his life.
Now the future looks brighter.
Oren's journey is not over. His medical team hopes to fine-tune his device to eventually stop him from having any seizures at all.
Yeah.
Lee Canary, CBS News, London.
Still to come on THV 11 News at noon, a heads up if you need some help keeping the lights and the air conditioning on this summer. How you can apply for help with your utility bills, coming up. Nathan.
It is a hot one out there, Jurnee. It's also on the humid side. We do have the potential, though, of maybe not reaching 95 on your Wednesday as a front makes its way in here from the north. I'll let you know if that front will produce any significant chance of showers and storms coming up.